Breaking tonight, a young surfer airlifted to hospital attacked by a shark off Kangaroo Island. South Australia's COVID testing rate plummets. Are we all doing enough to protect the community? A 6-year space race and the successful end in our outback. How South Australia played a big role in this global mission. A rise in Adelaide drivers caught using their phones. Tonight, the warning from road safety experts. And the local Olympic champions' injury fight back and helping spread the water safety message this summer.
This is Adelaide's 9 News.
Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news. A surfer airlifted to Adelaide. He was attacked by a great white shark off Kangaroo Island. Now, it happened in the waters of D'Estuaries Bay on the island's southeast coast at around 1:30 this afternoon at a popular surfing spot known as the Sewer. The 29-year-old managing to paddle back to shore before he was driven towards Kingscote by a member of the public. Paramedics taking the man the rest of the way to hospital. The victim was then airlifted by specialist paramedics to the Flinders Medical Centre. And our reporter Keziah Sullivan is at the hospital tonight. Keziah, what is the extent of the victim's injuries?
Well, this man is extremely lucky. He was bitten on the backside and the back before he managed to fight off the shark. He's currently undergoing emergency surgery here at the Flinders Medical Centre, and authorities say he's in a stable condition and those injuries are not life-threatening. Right now, council on the island are erecting signs warning people of the attack and urging them to stay away from the area. We understand that the man's partner also flew here to Adelaide, so he is by his side. But Will, what an incredible story this man is going to have to tell.
It's absolutely staggering. Thanks for the very latest there, Keziah Sullivan. Well, COVID-19 testing rates have dropped to concerning levels, but health authorities are still desperately trying to flush the virus out of the community. And Mike Lorrigan joins me now. Mike, we are talking about seriously low testing rates.
Well, it has completely dropped off. At the height of the Parafield cluster on the 20th of November, more than 17,000 tests were carried out, a huge number for South Australia. That number has dramatically reduced to the point in the last 24 hours, only 2,100, a number we haven't seen for quite some time. We saw very small queues at the Victoria Park drive-through testing clinic today, a far cry from where it was less than a week ago. SA Health has ramped up its campaign on this message of testing in recent days, imploring more South Australians to go and get tested. Authorities have always touted bigger testing numbers are key to reducing restrictions. 9 News has asked the Health Minister and SA Health to comment on this tonight, but no one was available. The advice remains, if you have any symptoms, get tested immediately. We're now also 8 days here in South Australia without a new COVID-19 case. Will?
OK, Mike Lorrigan, thanks for all those details. Anti-mask protesters have rallied in the city calling for an end to COVID-19 restrictions in South Australia. Around 100 people gathered in Victoria Square for the controversial Freedom Day protest, demanding the state of emergency be lifted.
People here are just sick of being told what they can and can't do, where they can and can't go, and they're sick of the impact it's been having on their lives.
Many of the protesters believe the virus is not in the community, claiming it's a hoax. South Australia has played a key role in this epic space mission, a capsule carrying pieces of an asteroid landing in the outback near Woomera. The operation by Japan's space agency now turns to the fragments. Scientists hope the asteroid samples could help us better understand the origins of life.
A streak of light burning a trail across South Australia's night sky just before 3 this morning.
It's coming from right side and it's getting brighter and brighter.
The first sign this mission home was on track as the capsule re-entered our atmosphere and Earth slowly came into view, sending the control room in Japan into raptures. The journey filmed by dedicated stargazers across outback SA. On the ground at Woomera, the search began. A helicopter deployed, finding the pod just a few hours later.
It's been a great night. Everything was going smoothly. I'm so happy now.
The capsule was sent hurtling our way from the robotic spacecraft Hayabusa 2 from 220,000 kilometres above. For the last 6 years, the probe has been in orbit on a 5 billion kilometre mission to explore an asteroid named Ryugu. A year and a half ago, it made it, latching onto the rock, coming away with samples from its surface.
This is like something from a Hollywood movie. Hayabusa 2 travelled across the solar system, reached an asteroid and exploded it, at least part of it, to take a sample from deep within.
Just what it's found will be analysed by scientists in Australia, Japan and a team at NASA in the US. It's hoped these tiny samples might help scientists answer some of the fundamental questions about our solar system and the processes that made our planet hospitable, like where elements such as water came from.
And that will tell us what the conditions and ingredients for life was like right back when the Earth itself was formed, and whether we owe asteroids like Ryugu thanks to having these ingredients that give us life here.
As for the spacecraft Hayabusa 2, it's already onto its next mission to track down another asteroid. Harvey Biggs, 9 News.
Simply phenomenal. Well, a worker has been assaulted during a robbery at Croydon Park service station. Police called to the OTR on Regency Road at around 3 this morning. A man threatened the worker with a gun that turned out to be a gel blaster. The offender attacking the worker, jumping the counter, stealing cash and then running away. Officers searched the area but they couldn't find the suspect. He was wearing a black mask, a grey hoodie and dark pants. Anyone with information should contact police. A man has been arrested after trying to steal copper from a construction site at Modbury. An alarm led police to a group of townhouses on Corio Street just after 4 this morning. With the help of a police dog, officers found the suspect. The 32-year-old man has been charged and will front court in March. New South Wales Police have admitted they made a mistake, letting 2 international travellers skip hotel quarantine and board a domestic flight to Melbourne. 176 other passengers are tonight anxiously waiting on the COVID test results for the German travellers, and they were only caught because of a vigilant airport worker.
As security tightens around a new round of quarantine hotels, what could have been another COVID catastrophe. A German woman and her son avoiding quarantine in Sydney.
Waiting to get on a bus to go to hotel quarantine. Next minute, they're not in that queue.
The pair managing to board a Virgin flight to Melbourne on Saturday afternoon.
They had a conversation with an officer, and during that conversation, there's been a misunderstanding and a lack of communication. And it was thought by the police officer that there was actually an exemption in place.
Passengers who travelled with them are furious.
The reason why I'm so angry is, as I say, I mean, I'm down here to see a newborn baby, 7-8 days old, and potentially I could have infected him.
All 174 of them, along with staff from Virgin flight VA838, are now in forced isolation.
Because of the incubation, there is some significant challenges still for the 176 people who were on that flight.
Sunil was on the Tokyo-Sydney leg of the flight and thinks he was in the queue behind the German mother and son.
He mentioned to the officers and the military staff that they're going to Melbourne, and they said, oh, well, you're in the wrong place. It was as easy and as smooth as that.
The mood at Tullamarine today, anger.
Dumbfounded how it actually happens.
Small business has absolutely been put through the ringer, and for this to happen is just not acceptable.
And the million-dollar question.
How does it happen? Honestly, how does that happen?
Did they lie or did they mistakenly?
No, they're certainly not. We're not suggesting that they lied. There was a language barrier, there was communication issues.
Victorian authorities have already informed all close contacts of those on the flight. And the net for this breach is being cast even wider than that. Now, anyone who passed through Terminal 3 here at Melbourne Airport on Saturday afternoon is being asked to monitor themselves for COVID symptoms.
We've seen firsthand through the Ruby Princess debacle just how very, very quickly a small mistake in quarantine can quickly turn into a nightmare for the community.
Laura Turner, 9 News.
Adelaide-trained sniffer dogs could soon be used to help detect COVID-19 in travellers at airports around Australia. 14 dogs are being trained by researchers at the University of Adelaide with support by the Australian Border Force. Now, the dogs will detect traces of the virus in a person's sweat.
It is very exciting because we can actually now use dogs to screen a lot of people in a very short period of time. It takes a few seconds to a dog to tell us if a sample is positive or not.
It's hoped the dogs may even be able to sense COVID in people who are asymptomatic. Results of the trial expected to be released early next year. Russia has started a mass rollout of its Sputnik 5 COVID vaccine. The Russian-made vaccine will first be available to doctors, medical staff, teachers and social workers because of their exposure to the virus. President Vladimir Putin says his country will have produced 2 million doses within the next few days. Well, strong winds are causing damage across the state for a second day in a row, and Chelsea Carey has the latest from Windy Point. Chelsea, tonight a second cold front is closing in.
Well, that system is only hours away, so we will continue to see gusty winds and showers overnight. SES crews have responded to more than 400 calls for help in the past 24 hours as winds brought trees crashing down. This large tree uprooted at Nuriutba, landing on a home. Winds also continuing to topple trees in the Adelaide Hills. Crews responding to this one here, covering a road at Meadows this morning. Now, this weekend we have seen quite a lot of damage across SA. At Port Lincoln, a trampoline was lifted by the winds and thrown onto a car, cracking at the windshield. Tomorrow will be cool and windy with a few early showers, but conditions will continue to ease throughout the day. Will?
OK, thanks for the latest, Chelsea. 2 former Liberal MPs are taking on the Marshall government over a decision to demolish a state heritage building at Erbray. The government says it's not feasible to save the Waite Gatehouse, despite an engineering report stating that it is. Dozens attending a rally today to save a piece of local history.
A fight for the ages. Protesters swarmed the Waite Gatehouse at Erbray, desperate to save the historic building.
I think it's an absolute travesty that an iconic building like this is being demolished.
It's been revealed the structure, which was built in 1890, is set to go as part of the $100 million Fullerton Road corridor upgrade.
It is state heritage listed, and that should mean something. That should immediately protect the building, but it doesn't always do that.
About 100 people attending today's rally, organised by local MP Sam DeLuc, who's now an independent, taking on the government and the party he used to represent.
We can have a road upgrade and we can keep our history and heritage.
Some calling for the road project to be scrapped altogether and wanting to save established trees. Others urging the government to preserve the structure and relocate it away from the intersection. Infrastructure Minister Corey Wingard wasn't available for interview, a spokesperson for him telling us saving the building isn't feasible and there's a high risk it would fall apart if moved. However, the state government's own report mentions the proposal to move the building is feasible from a structural point of view, while listing ways to do it successfully.
We know it can be moved because they've got reports that say it can, and for under $1 million.
Former Liberal Party leader Ian Evans also challenging the Marshall government, handing out pamphlets for a local company he says can and wants to relocate the gatehouse.
Or any other large, heavy structure can now be moved with safety, precision and accuracy.
Edward Godfrey, 9 News.
The state government is investing $13 million to help kickstart regional projects in a bid to create jobs. Beresford Estates, one of 7 companies in the latest round of funding. It will help build a new $10 million brew house and accommodation at McLaren Vale.
It's our goal to create lots of jobs here, because if we create jobs, we create certainty for all of the people who work with our business.
The investment's part of a taxpayer-funded regional growth project to boost the local economy. Well, a foreign agreements veto bill looks set to pass federal parliament, again spotlighting Canberra's distrust of China. It would give the Commonwealth power over international deals struck by the states, councils and universities, a move sparked by Victoria signing on to Beijing's big foreign policy plan.
This perky kiddies ditty
The bell connects to land, the roam is on the sea.
is state-based propaganda for China's multi-trillion-dollar building plan to connect Asia and Europe by land and sea, with spurs into Africa and the Indo-Pacific, which some defence experts warn is a giant strategic threat. The Federal Coalition and Labor have ruled out joining this chorus.
We have said we would not sign up to the BRI.
But Victoria did.
We have many, many different MOUs with hospitals, with universities, with research institutes, with provincial governments. and with the central government.
With Canberra locked in a bitter struggle with Beijing, the Commonwealth wants to assert its constitutional right over foreign affairs, with a new law to give it veto power over any deal struck between any foreign government and councils, states or institutions here, giving it the right to tear up Victoria's Belt and Road Agreement.
And that's entirely a matter for the federal parliament.
We support the objectives and we've supported the legislation.
Federal Labor has picked a small fight, backing an amendment allowing for a judicial review of any veto, but the bill is likely to pass tomorrow without change.
Now that the minister has the power, it's time for sensible discussions with the Victorian government.
The Morrison government won't publicly tear up Victoria's Belt and Road Agreement, but quietly bury it as Canberra tries to calm the stormy relationship with Beijing.
I think we all understand that China has a very different view about what it wants from Australia than what we are prepared to give, regardless of who's in government.
Chris Ullman, 9 News.
Donald Trump has returned to the stage holding what's been dubbed a victory rally in the state of Georgia. In his biggest public appearance since losing the November election, the president refused to concede, claiming he was winning.
Dancing on stage in the south of Georgia like nothing's changed, and talking like it too.
We're winning this election.
But he did hint he knows the game is up.
If you win Florida and if you win Ohio, in history, you've never lost an election. This has got to be a first time. But a friend of mine said, "Oh, don't worry about it, sir. You're way up in the polls. You'll win in 2024. I said, "I don't want to wait till 2024. I want to go back 3 weeks."
Perhaps explaining why his first big event since declared the loser felt like a flashback to pre-election days. Melania Trump, who rarely hit the trail for her husband's own campaign, joined him today in support of 2 Republican senators ahead of runoff elections to decide control of the US Senate.
Do not let your voices be silenced. We must keep our seats in the Senate.
But as Donald Trump took the podium, his first words were about his own election.
Hello, Georgia. We did a great job. You know, we won Georgia, just so you understand. And we won Florida.
Proclaiming again and again it was rigged.
Actually, I won Wisconsin. If I lost, I would say I lost. And I'd go to Florida and I'd take it easy and I'd go around and I'd say I did a good job. But you can't ever accept when they steal and rig and rob.
As he brought thousands together in a packed crowd when the state has just recorded the highest number of new cases in one day, the president showed sympathy for COVID-19 victims.
Our warmest best wishes and love to all of those people and families suffering from the COVID pandemic. Vaccines are on their way, and we will make America great again.
This is unusual, to say the least. 9 days before the Electoral College is expected to make his loss official, this Trump rally feels as energetic as his last, capping off a presidential term that will go down in history as one unlike any other.
The American people voted for him to be our president for good.
Biden's cheated. His fans backing him, but the very senator he travelled to support is talking like President-elect Biden is a done deal.
We have an opportunity to do something that maybe we lost in the last administration between Pelosi and Trump. But here we have Biden and McDonald.
And Mr. Trump's former advisor, Kellyanne Conway, is breaking ranks.
If you look at the vote totals in the Electoral College tally, it looks like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will prevail.
President-elect Biden has confirmed he too plans to campaign in Georgia ahead of the Senate runoffs on January 5. In Valdosta, Georgia, Alexis Daish, 9 News.
Well, time to check on sport now with Tom Wren. And Rennie, a major blow for the Aussie T20 side.
Yeah, absolutely. Star paceman Mitchell Starc, he is out for the rest of the T20 series, so not good news. Hi, everyone. We'll have more on that a little bit later. Also, coming up, see the ready-made replacement sending Test selectors a strong reminder. Plus, Kyle Chalmers explains how a shoulder setback has him moving forward.
All right, thanks, Tom. Found down a steep embankment and made to wait till morning. Next, the operation to save 2 hikers from Queensland's highest peak. Plus, the touching memorial for the 3 people killed in a Melbourne house fire.
Violent cops.
If you're a policeman and you inflict family violence,
you'll get away with it.
Who terrorise their own families.
I just kept thinking the kids are going to die. He's going to kill the kids.
The stunning and explosive truth.
a family violence perpetrator was a family violence investigator.
It's absolutely a crisis of community safety.
On 60 Minutes that will shock Australia.
Why is it so hard to take on the police?
Short answer, because they're accountable to no one.
Next.
This Christmas, pick up Lindt Lindor pouches, 80 to 125 grams. Perfect for sharing or gifting. Now just $6 each. Helping you share the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
Every side is the best side of the Hyundai Kona with a $500 bonus during Hyundai's 2020 model run-out event. Test drive the Kona at your local Hyundai showroom today.
Witches. They're real. And they hate children.
Grandma, is that you, boy? She's gonna turn every kid into a mouse.
Exterminate those brats. Rats.
Your dad wants me to download a playlist. Oh, no. Nah, it'll take ages.
Not on 5G.
So many things that I can't touch I'm all out of faith.
You and me, Darren.
This is how I feel.
Your iPhone 12 Pro deserves Australia's best 5G.
This Christmas, we're bringing back those magical moments of wonder, excitement and delight. Visit Santa's Wonderland. Find us at the Adelaide Showground. This December, book online at santaswonderland.com.au.
Christmas Made Fun catalogue sale on now at Super Cheap Auto. This pedal go-kart, $99. And a Maguire's Ultimate Shine Kit, $54.99. Or grab a gift card. It's Christmas made easy.
Shut up and take my money.
Nine News, brought to you by KFC. Still open and still frying. Get your KFC contact free today.
The state opposition is calling for more funding to end domestic violence. It comes after a 7.4% increase in family violence over the past year. Labor says the state government needs to provide more support to frontline services experiencing high demand.
There is no ongoing sustainable funding for domestic violence prevention hubs. This is a crisis. We need urgent action. We need change.
Well, the government says it's committing record funding to a range of anti-domestic violence programs. And there is help out there. If you or anyone you know needs support, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14. An experienced bushwalker has fallen down a steep embankment while hiking Queensland's highest peak. The rescue effort spanning 2 days, and tonight he's recovering in hospital.
Clinging to his rescuer, this bushwalker winched to safety, pulled deep from the undergrowth of Mount Superbus in Queensland's Southern Downs after a long night in thick bush.
It was quite steep. His brother couldn't see him, but after a few moments heard him, so he was very relieved.
The 29-year-old Brisbane man fell 10 metres down a cliff while hiking with his brother around 11:30 yesterday morning. Suffering a possible spinal and fractured ribs, the brothers managing to contact police. A delicate multi-agency search and rescue mission ensuing. Choppers overhead locating the duo around 3 p.m. on foot. SES volunteers, specialist rescue crews and a critical care paramedic battling the tough terrain to reach them. But the bush too dense to carry him out.
SEQ members were on their hands and knees yesterday climbing up the hill. Very relieved when SES volunteers along with the police helicopter located him and supported him through the night.
Stay there overnight, stabilise the patient.
Rescuers forced to wait until first light to resume. Both men are experienced hikers. The injured man even previously hiking Mount Everest's base camp. They were prepared for a 2-night journey in this dense bushland until the misadventure unfolded just 24 hours in. His 26-year-old brother winched out this morning before the chopper drops in a chainsaw.
They'll be clearing the undergrowth to allow a successful and safe winch.
RSUQ Life Flight managing just that, flying the 29-year-old to Toowoomba Base Hospital for treatment. Sally Guyett, 9 News.
The Fraser Island fire emergency is getting worse. Residents on the east coast forced to evacuate as the bushfire threatened to destroy homes. The town of Happy Valley is under serious threat. 3 fire fronts getting closer. Queensland's largest firefighting tanker has now been deployed. And in 7 weeks, more than 82,000 hectares of the World Heritage listed park have been destroyed. The ecological disaster is still far from over. Well, the heartbroken parents of a young mother killed in a house fire in Melbourne have paid tribute to their daughter at a touching memorial. Abby Forrest's mother described the 19-year-old as glowing and reminding others to hug their children.
Overcome with emotion, a family's unimaginable grief is laid bare. Alan and Elizabeth Forrest will never get to see their granddaughter grow up.
I really am lost for words. I just can't speak things anymore.
Their daughter Abby died alongside her partner Inderpal Singh and their 19-day-old baby girl Ivy when fire tore through their Point Cook townhouse.
I spoke to her the night before and she said, "Love you, Mum. I'll talk to you tomorrow."
An entire community shattered. Today they came together to farewell the young family with balloons and bubbles. A never-ending stream of neighbours and strangers bringing toys, flowers and messages of love to their door.
The love and care of people, just giving their condolences, walking down the street, it's been absolutely beautiful.
They'd only just moved into the house with their newborn daughter.
She's glowing. Words can't explain or how she was with a young daughter. She's beautiful.
She just was going to make up a nursery for Ivy and just to have them, it's just tragic.
This tree's been planted at the park nearby the home as a permanent memorial to the young parents who should have been watching their baby daughter grow up here.
There's a lovely note attached to it and it's been laminated so it won't get ruined by the weather. It'll stay on the tree forever. That was such a touching thing to do.
The community now raising funds for their funeral and 2 families wishing they had time to say goodbye.
Hug your children because you're not supposed to bury your children. So give them a hug and let them know that you love them. Because you never know when you'll see them again.
Elizabeth Moss, 9 News.
It's dangerous and reckless, but more and more South Australians are breaking this law. Next, the warning about the growing number of drivers becoming distracted by their mobile phones. Plus, Olympic champion Kyle Chalmers leads the SA Kids back in the water for summer.
Did you see Anthony leave school?
Wait, he hasn't come home yet?
In the town of suspects,
He's loved. He wouldn't run away.
their greatest secret will be exposed.
He's out there. We're going to find him.
The event series, The Disappearance. 9 now. Your world of free entertainment.
Discover better buys for kids at Target. Like 20% off toys from these big brands, including Lego, Barbie, Fisher-Price and more. Offer ends December 9. Exclusions and conditions apply. Find more better buys in-store or online.
Autobarn has hundreds of Christmas gifts for car lovers. They'll love the sound of a Pioneer 6.2-inch AV receiver with Bluetooth, only $197. Or help them explore more with Rhino Rack roof racks, now 15% off. Only at Autobarn.
With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you, so you can enjoy it at home, fast, safe and contact-free. Search Macca's website for your local delivery partner.
From rally to road, the all-new GR Yaris. Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
I love how matte surfaces in nature hold light, how they diffuse the light. Like Colorbond Steel Matte, they're strong, enduring, yet subtle in their beauty.
At the end of a year of endless debacle, Ellie Mae realised she'd lost her sparkle.
Carol, I am a superintelligence.
I'm trying to determine if I should destroy the planet.
I'm gonna find out who you are.
People are worth saving.
Bow before your digital overlord. He's actually doing it. That's hilarious.
Under pressure.
The British Prime Minister and the European Commission President have instructed their negotiators to resume Brexit trade talks tomorrow. There's only 3 weeks to go, but both sides have admitted the deal is stuck on 3 critical issues. That is, fair competition rules, governance and fisheries. The Brexit transition period will end on December 31 with or without a deal. The streets of Paris have burned for a second weekend in a row. Mass protests against the new security law turned violent. Demonstrators set fire to cars and smashed windows, police firing back with tear gas. Nearly 100 rallies were planned across the country against the controversial law that would ban people from taking and publishing photos of police under certain circumstances. An old church in New York has been gutted by fire. The blaze had started in the abandoned building next to the church with 200 firefighters called in. The 19th century building had held the city's Liberty Bell. The fate of the bell is unknown. Well, there was no time to look at the stunning Barcelona view for this illegal free climber. He climbed the city's Agbar Tower in just 40 minutes and was then quickly arrested. The 24-year-old has form with free climbing and being arrested. He spent 3 months in jail last year for climbing the Shard skyscraper in London. Well, a cash drop promotion in New Zealand has backfired badly, ending with a man being taken to hospital. Hundreds had flocked to the safety warehouse in Auckland. The promise was $100,000, but the crowd quickly turned on organisers when they realised the money was fake. Dozens of people surrounded the company car, throwing food and trying to break the windows. Well, 9 News can reveal more South Australians are being caught using their mobile phones while behind the wheel. The alarming rise in distracted drivers bringing an urgent warning from the RAA.
A dangerous habit South Australians can't seem to shake.
We all see it. We see people every day on their phone, heads going up and down or sat at the lights, blatantly doing it.
Drivers distracted by their mobile phones, a reckless decision that not only attracts hefty fines but can have deadly consequences. Alarmingly, it seems more South Australian drivers are choosing to take that risk. The number of fines issued by police jumping 15% in the last financial year to more than 5,500.
Quite an increase from last year in the number of detections.
Fine revenue has nearly doubled to more than $3 million, excluding the Victims of Crime levy. The rise a result of the soaring number of fines issued, plus a $200 increase in the penalty. It's now $534.
It's a substantial fine, and it's a fine that people don't need to pay.
The increase in fines is likely to continue with the introduction of mobile phone detection cameras from September 2022, which are expected to catch out thousands more motorists using their devices while driving.
What we want is people to get in the habit of not using their phones, so even when the cameras are introduced, this won't be a problem.
Keeps me safe on the road and my grandchildren. So, yeah, the more cameras the better. I'm happy.
Drivers urged to put their mobile phones away and keep their focus on the road.
I guess they could just wait to not be endangering other people to check their phones.
You don't know what the other road users are doing, and that's what you always got to be so careful about.
Until you have an accident and until you kill someone, you don't think about those consequences.
Olivia Grace Curran, 9 News.
It's a disturbing health report heading into summer. Next, just how many South Aussies aren't following the slip, slop, slap advice. And the curtain could be rising, easing restrictions, giving new hope for the Aussie live performance scene.
When the going gets tough, Tom gets tougher.
What day is it? Judgment Day.
Tom Cruise.
You do know what's happening to me.
Emily Blunt.
Training is over.
The action blockbuster. Edge of Tomorrow. Tonight on 9.
This is the Dyson Corral Straightener with manganese copper alloy plates that flex, shape and gather for enhanced styling with less damage. Dyson Corral.
I am a technological superintelligence.
Car on, activate. Your body. I feel like I should be blessing someone's grave.
Christmas is a time to come together. This year, more than ever, it's important for us all to come together and support each other. It's been a tough year for many SA businesses. That's why at Drake's we've increased our support for local brands and produce. Together we can continue supporting this great state of ours by making this Christmas a South Aussie Christmas. From all of us at Drake's and all the local brands and produce we stock. Thanks for your support.
Merry South Aussie Christmas.
This sheep farming game's tough enough. There's no need to take risks if you don't have to. That's why I switched to Avenge Plus Fly, which contains the first new active for spray-on fly strike prevention in 20 years. With fast knockdown and a new mode of action, it's time to rotate your thinking.
This year has been especially tough for all Australians. Sadly, this Christmas, thousands of families will struggle to afford a basic celebration. You can give hope this Christmas. Please go to salvationarmy.org.au and give to the Christmas appeal.
So, your T-Cross, does it come in orange?
Don't think so.
It comes in orange. The new T-Cross. You'll just want one. Volkswagen.
Enjoy an Aussie Christmas at Anaconda. Salomon Daytree Gore-Tex Adult Mid Hikers now $119, save $150. 30% off all clothing by Columbia, Mountain Designs, Marmot and more big brands. Head in store or shop online at anacondastores.com.
Anaconda!
Tried Hungry Jack's Flame Grilled Big Jack? Then meet the new Chicken Big Jack with 2 crispy chicken patties and special sauce. Big Jack beef or Big Jack chicken. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important. The new Sensodyne Sensitivity in Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health. 2 benefits from 1 toothpaste. What a great idea.
This week on Today, the Virgin boss reveals the deal she's planning to get you in the air. And the megastars keep coming. Nicolas Cage, Anne Hathaway, and the very funny James Corden. Plus, how to win free fuel for a year. 15 winners thanks to our friends at BP. That's tomorrow on Today on 9.
More than a third of us will get sunburnt at least once over summer. That's the finding of a major local health survey revealing many South Aussies are still ignoring the Sun Smart message. It also found only 10% of people rely on the daily UV index when deciding how to protect their skin. The Cancer Council says it's a reminder to slip, slop, slap, especially now that summer is here. Well, it's less than 3 weeks until Christmas Day, and since 2018, it's been a bittersweet season for this Australian family following the loss of their son, Levi, to cancer. The family from Sydney now using their grief to create a positive, helping search for a cure.
Like all 8-year-olds,
Levi Wheeler loved Christmas. He loved Christmas so much he would dress the tree, hand out the prezzies, and in 2018, tenaciously hold on to life to celebrate it before dying that New Year's Eve.
How many days until Christmas? 2 more sleeps?
Yeah. He was just a giving soul, and he enjoyed giving out presents. And he'd always save his till last.
Levi would be assailed by a disease called DIPG, a brain cancer affecting kids up to the threshold of the teen years.
It's got 0 survivors. It's terminal on diagnosis, so every child who gets this type of cancer will die.
But the Wheelers are continuing to keep the spirit of Levi's love for Chrissy alive by selling Chrissy trees. The money's raised heading to Sydney's Children's Cancer Institute to find the clues to a cure.
The Mount Everest of childhood cancers. It is one of the most deadly, and this has allowed us to really accelerate that work and get it done faster with a greater team.
Levi's impact on his local community was such, his soccer squad, the Cronulla Seagulls, raised more than $100,000 this season, sponsored for each goal they scored. And in this Yuletide time that Levi so loved, the air at the clubhouse is thick with the scent of pine needle as his family continues to push for a cure by selling the symbol of the season close to his heart. What do you reckon Levi would have thought about all of this?
He would have been stoked. He loves Christmas.
Mike Dalton, 9 News.
Yeah, so wonderful. Well, the COVID-19 pandemic brought the curtain down on many live performances. Melbourne's musical theatre scene hit the hardest. And for South Australian theatre fans who head over for the big shows, the easing of restrictions in Victoria means reopening nights could be close.
When Melbourne began to shut down back in March, musical theatre was the first to go. Suddenly I've got my wings. And will be one of the last industries to be revived.
Financially, it's been a complete disaster, especially for commercial producers.
The near 9-month closure has brought a huge financial toll and an emotional one as well.
That's our bread and butter. To have all that taken away is pretty heartbreaking, and it's been pretty hard.
Immediate casualties of the lockdown: Shrek, Come From Away, and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Seasons that were cancelled: Dolly Parton's 9 to 5, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and John Foreman's much-anticipated Midnight, the Cinderella musical. Unlike cinemas, the cost of staging a musical theatre production employing hundreds of people daily means playing to big audiences for it to be viable.
Truly, we have to open at 100% capacity. And that's because, you know, the sheer economics of opening a show.
The industry has been working to develop a COVID-safe plan to get the show back on the road.
If you're doing all the right things, if everyone's getting temperature checked, if everyone is wearing a mask, sanitising, I can't see how the spread would happen in a theatre.
With Brisbane Musical Theatre back on stage to full houses and Sydney playing to around 50% capacity, shows like Pippin, with Frozen opening just before Christmas, pressure has ramped up in Melbourne.
We can get on planes and we can go to sporting events. Why we can't find a way?
If state premiers and health officials can work with us and take the risk like we are risking, we can open and we can operate in a truly safe environment.
It's believed Harry Potter and the Cursed Child will be the first production back on stage here at the Princess Theatre, followed by Come From Away, Chess, Magic Mike and Moulin Rouge, a veritable feast for starved theatre lovers.
There's something truly unique about a shared experience of going to the theatre. And that truly is what people miss, especially in Melbourne.
I mean, who doesn't love the escapism of going to see the theatre?
Joe Hall, 9 News.
Well, sport now with Tom Wren. And Rennie, it's been a rickety few days for the Aussie cricketers. Now a change in captaincy for the T20 side.
Well, a lot of people thought it might be Steve Smith coming back to the captaincy, but they've elected instead to go with Matthew Wade. A little bit surprising. Hi, everyone. More details from a massive day of cricket next as a host of players look to impress selectors for Australia A, while George Russell's incredible rise continues.
These snakes are killing me.
Kylie's sweet addiction.
You're in heaven, aren't you? I am in heaven.
Or sugar hell.
Oh, where do you start? Why snakes? Oh, sorry, you get your mouth full.
A hardcore habit that's killing Kylie.
That's your body weight in sugar consumed in a couple of months.
I feel so ashamed.
The man who promises to break this mum's craving in just 3 minutes.
Goodbye forever.
A Current Affair Monday.
This Christmas, share succulent, award-winning Woolworths half-leg ham. 100% Australian pork, now just $9 a kilo. Helping you share the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
From Rally to Road, the all-new GR Yaris. Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
It's not who passes go and collects $200. It's not whether you grab the funny bone or not. It's not what comes in the box. It's what happens around the game. Hasbro Gaming, memories included.
Bupa offers more ways to talk that are more suited to you. Because some of us want to talk to a real person, and others like to do it all online. Bupa, chat to us today.
Breeze through summer with Australia's biggest fan and exterior sale at Beacon. Shop our huge range of fans plus exciting new designs with 30% off your second fan or exterior item. Catalogue out now.
Australia, eating more seafood, nice. It's as easy as throwing together the perfect plate. Oh, love it. Or reversing an esky. Come on, jeez. See, easy as. I'm gonna need a few more. Thanks, mate.
Boating, cabin fishing is BCF and fun.
Summer is sorted with our BCF and Chrissy Gear Guide. Check out this Great Northern wheeled can cooler. Half price. Cheers to that.
BCF and fun. Hey!
Ooh, been through a bit to get here? Worth it. Check out this finance offer on CHR.
Make any excuse this play clearance. Get a 3.9% comparison rate across the CHR range. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
When Jim had an accident, he gave Allianz 5 stars and helped our comprehensive car insurance claims experience get an average of 4.4 stars. To join Jim and thousands of satisfied customers, search for your quote today.
Masters of Flip, Courtney and Dave star in a brand new series.
Incredible.
Making it home with Courtney and Dave, tonight on 9 Live.
Hello again. Mitchell Starc will miss the rest of Australia's T20 series, departing the bubble to spend time with his sick father. Aaron Finch has also been ruled out of tonight's game with a hamstring injury, with Matthew Wade to skipper the side. It comes as Travis Head leads the next crop of talent in Australia A's tour match against India A.
Cricket COVID style. Fans boxed out of the bubble at Drummoyne Oval. With no indication David Warner will be fit for Australia's first test, all eyes were on new-look opening duo Joe Burns and Will Bukowski. Selectors would have to wait to see them bat, India A winning the toss, leaving Australia A to bowl. The tourists' red ball form was brittle, both openers departing for a duck.
Nice, really nice.
Test skipper Tim Payne has some homework to do ahead of Adelaide. The old guard of Pujara and Rahane digging in for a 76-run partnership.
Tim Payne was never getting near it. 4 more to Pujara.
All-rounder Cameron Green's return from his ODI debut to Australia A cricket was largely touted as a test audition, but veteran James Pattinson made it hard to ignore him.
James Pattinson does the trick, and Pujara, the danger man, has to go.
The other danger man wasn't so easy.
The captain of India pushes into the covers, picks up 2 and passes 3 figures.
Rahane seeing out the day with 108 runs. Pattinson the best of the Aussies with 3 for 58.
He obviously bowled beautifully. I thought, I guess his energy and coming down breeze there, he bowled beautifully, bowled a great length. He was backed up well by all the rest of them, but he headed the attack and was able to make some really crucial breakthroughs for us.
Hayley Willis, 9 News.
The off-season holiday is over for the AFL's youngsters, with first to fourth year players to report for day 1 of pre-season tomorrow. It'll also be Nathan Van Berlo's first day back at the Crows, the former skipper, now a midfield coach. Meantime, new face Orazio Fantasia could join his young power teammates at Alberton, despite not having to return until the new year. Let's stick with footy, and new Roo Jaden Stevenson is excited to get started under first-time coach David Noble as the former Pies forward starts life at North Melbourne.
Jaden Stevenson is the first to admit his heart wasn't in season 2020.
Maybe a lack of enjoyment at stages there. I mean, obviously you're stuck in a hub and you can't really get away from footy at all.
But it's a very different story as the ambassador for Heart Kids, a charity close to home for the 20-year-old who discovered he was carrying a genetic heart condition on the eve of being drafted.
I've obviously had this dream to play AFL football my whole life, and then unfortunately, at the last hurdle, it could have come to a stop.
And so after a less than fruitful year, the 2018 rising star is ready for a fresh start under new North Melbourne coach David Noble. And he's already filled with some confidence after the former Lion opened the door for a potential midfield move.
I'm certainly open to wherever he wants to play me, whether that be up on the wing or forward. I'll even go down back if he needs me to.
Stevenson has made it no secret he's out to prove his old side wrong. And tomorrow is when the work begins. He'll join his new teammates here at Arden Street for the start of pre-season.
I'd like to train a lot of the time with the mids and sort of get used to getting the ball in traffic and having to make those decisions.
Alicia Muling, 9 News.
Olympic gold medalist Kyle Chalmers is back home after undergoing shoulder surgery in Sydney. But far from a setback, the 22-year-old believes the operation has him on target for Tokyo.
This group of students from Christ of the King School enjoying a head start to their holiday swim school, but making a real splash, a very special guest.
If you're in trouble at the beach or the pool, what's the signal you guys do? Hands up.
But Kyle Chalmers can only watch from the deck as he recovers from shoulder surgery, just 7 months out from the Tokyo Olympics.
It's put me forward probably. I've kind of been swimming through the pain for such a long time that hopefully this clean out minimises the pain and helps me be able to do what I want to do.
A week post-surgery, the Rio gold medalist is undergoing daily physio and massage, ready to dip his toe back in the water.
Slow process, but I'll be back swimming full on January 1st, but at the moment just building back up through it at the moment.
The time has enabled him to become more involved with his role as VacSwim ambassador, the program given the green light after a year of uncertainty, with many children missing out on their regular lessons due to COVID.
It's fantastic that it's going ahead, and there's so many locations around South Australia, which kind of makes it very easy for people to enrol their kids and learn what I think is one of the most valuable skills you'll ever learn in your lifetime.
VacSwim programs are running in December and January at beaches and in swim centres right across South Australia.
It's not just swimming lessons, it's actually water safety and you know, we here in Adelaide and around South Australia we have so many different bodies of water, obviously beaches, pools, rivers, creeks, so it's just ensuring your kids know how to be safe in and around the water.
To register, go to VacSwim SA's website. Vicky Schwartz, 9 News.
The Wallabies have received high praise for a spine-tingling rendition of the national anthem ahead of their clash with Argentina in Sydney. Led by young schoolgirl Olivia Fox, the squad sang an Indigenous version of Advance Australia Fair. In wet conditions, the Wallabies came from 13-3 down to draw against the Pumas. Let's go to soccer, and in the Premier League, Chelsea has climbed to the top of the table, but not before a few nervy moments against Leeds. The Blues fell a goal behind early on before this incredible miss from close range cost them the easiest of equalisers. They did eventually find their groove, however, claiming a 3-1 victory in the end. So too Manchester United, thanks to some sharp work from Paul Pogba.
Back for Pogba. Oh, what a finish from Paul Pogba. That's what he can do. It's a stunning goal.
Yeah, when he's on, he's on. Rivals Manchester City also scoring a win, defeating Fulham 2-0. And Mercedes fill-in George Russell will start from second on the grid for tonight's Grand Prix in Bahrain. His temporary teammate Valtteri Bottas set the pace in qualifying, with Russell just 2/100ths of a second behind.
Can George Russell get a pole position in Formula One? He misses out by such a slender margin, only 2/100ths of a second. But I have to say, George Russell, take a bow. You might have been beaten, but you weren't beaten by much.
Certainly wasn't. The fill-in hoping for a fairy tale finish in tonight's race where Aussie Daniel Ricciardo will start from 7th. Will, set to be a big night in sport, a big week too. The AFL draft is coming up. And great to see as well Kyle Chalmers starting to get back on track from that shoulder surgery. A year to go, you'd be a brave person to back against him for another gold medal.
Absolutely. And the underdog, George Russell, I really want to see him win the F1.
Unreal. Don't take a holiday. Someone might take your job.
All right.
That's why we're still working.
Exactly. Thanks very much, Tom Rand. Well, it is going to be wet and windy again for at least part of tomorrow. Then it starts to heat up. Chelsea Carey has the 7-day weather forecast in a moment. Right now, a look at the Monday speed cameras.
Tune into the 5AA Breakfast Show tomorrow from 6 a.m. for breaking news, weather and traffic in and around Adelaide.
Violent cops.
You're a policeman and you inflict family violence.
You'll get away with it.
60 minutes that will shock Australia. Next.
The boys are back in the Slimy sequel.
This whole place is going to blow like a frog on a hot plate.
Ghostbusters 2, tonight on 9 Go.
Every side is the best side of the Hyundai Tucson, with a bonus up to $1,500 during Hyundai's 2020 model run-out event. Test drive the Tucson at your local Hyundai showroom today.
Dad, I hit somebody.
Don't tell anyone, not ever. You've got your whole life ahead of you. We decide what the truth is.
The brand new event series, Your Honour, premieres tomorrow only on Stan.
Here, Dad, we all chipped in.
Thought it was time. Oh, great. How does it clip on?
This year, our 7-day price match on a huge range of phones can help make gifting more affordable.
The St John Christmas Home Lottery is back. Buy your ticket before midnight Sunday to be in next week's draw to win your own corporate box for you and 17 mates for next summer's International Cricket Spectacular. Buy your ticket today.
Witches, they're real and they hate children.
Grandma, is that you, boy? She's gonna turn every kid into a mouse.
Exterminate those brats. Rats.
I'm a Venus. She's got it, baby, she's got it. I'm a Venus, I'm a fire, my desire. I'm a Venus.
Australia's harsh sun is proven to visibly age women by up to 20 years faster than those in the US. That's why you need sunscreen every day. Ask your Chemist Warehouse pharmacist which sunscreen is right for your skin.
Well, you might want to keep a warm jumper handy tomorrow. And today has been unseasonably cool too. We only managed a top of 21.3 degrees in the city, and right now it's sitting on 18. And it's been a cool Sunday right across the suburbs, only a top of 13 degrees on Mount Lofty. We've had a few showers around throughout the day and they will continue overnight. And it's been windy too, gusts between 50 and 80 kilometres an hour. A shower or two over the York Peninsula today, and those cool winds have been felt right across across the north and west of the state. Clare made 19, Port Pirie reached 24. Showers recorded over Kangaroo Island and down across the southeast at Keith, Narracourt and Mount Gambier. Windy at times too, and you can see those temperatures are not very summery at all. It was 20 on Hindmarsh Island, the same in the Barossa. Now another front is set to move across the southern coast early tomorrow morning, triggering more showers, and there is a very cold air mass behind it, so it will feel quite wintry before a high pressure system settles in and gives us a stretch of finer and warmer weather. Melbourne and Hobart will feel this cold front tomorrow too, but it's looking hot and sunny for our friends in Sydney and Perth. Back home, another windy day, and there is a chance of a morning shower around Port Pirie, Clare and Maitland, a top of 23 for Port Augusta. There is a chance of early showers across much of the south tomorrow as that change rolls through. Windy too before easing later in the day, just a top of 18 for Victor Harbour and Kingscote. And this front has prompted marine wind warnings for much of the state's coastline tomorrow, including Adelaide metro waters, where we have winds up to 30 knots and seas reaching 3 metres. Across the suburbs, not your typical summer's day, cool, windy, with a few showers as well, clearing by the afternoon. 17's the top for Outer Harbour, just 16 for Mount Barker. In the city, a top of 19 degrees, and that is 7 degrees cooler than average for this time of year. A little more warmth on Tuesday, 22, blue skies on Wednesday, and then heating up to beach weather next weekend with temperatures in the mid-30s. Will?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Thanks very much, Chelsea. Thanks for your company this weekend on Adelaide's 9 News. The team is back tomorrow night at 6. Stay with us. 60 Minutes is on right now. I'm Will McDonald. Have a great evening. Good night.
There is